Dois. I was in the session with one of my Patreons. He wanted to know how I layer samples. I got a pack. I have a folder filled with Rhodes cuts that come from this Rhodes right here. He loves the sounds. He wants to know how to layer them over other samples. And I'm like, I actually never do that. I don't typically go and make a beat and then layer Rhodes over whatever is already in there. So the Rhodes are my first sample to be put over the drums. I've spoken about this. I have like this hierarchy of a method, this pattern that I use to make beats. And I follow it not because it's a rule, because it's not a rule, but it's something that works for me. I typically start with the drums, then I go to samples that carry low frequencies that are typically in the mid-range, like around here, right? And then, and can have a bass as well. And then after that, I start layering over this. But I do start around here, and I start around here, I suppose, because I prefer to have all these type of chords that I love, which are very rich in harmony, harmonics in here. There are typically 11, 13 chords, 9 minor nines, stuff like that, which I love to. And now, try to picture you trying to layer this very rich chord over other samples. It is very complicated. I've struggled with that, so I typically don't go that way. My structure would be drums, then Rhodes, and then other samples over it. And when I layer these other samples, they are not chords anymore. They are melodies. Right? They're melodies now. Now I'm going for monophonic samples in the sense that there's only one voice playing at a time. And keep in mind that I'm talking about samples. I'm not talking about having a melody already in there, whatever it is, and then coming to the Rhodes and trying to find something to play. Of course, if I was playing it, like I have a beat here, and notice that I think this is in the key of E. Yeah, it's E, so it's not that hard to do. It's not that hard to do if you're playing it. But we're talking about samples. We're talking about finding a sample like rich in the sense that, you know, you're trying to find, right? It's these minor 9 chords, trying to find one that fits this song that we've built already. Sometimes it can get really frustrating and hard, and sometimes impossible, because me personally, working, I can get samples from different songs that are in different keys, right? And then if at the end you still want to layer a chord over all of that, it can get really tricky. So my method on this is I just start straight away with my chords. I think the chords is a great place to start. It already it sets a tone for your beat. You know, I think it's just the best for me, right? You do you. For me, I think it's the best place to start. I have a lot of these chops on my folders where I go to and I'm like, all right, I like the texture of this because I send it through here, the Chroma console or effects on the MPC. And then there's already like a sound to it. There are some sonics, some textures to these. And I pick these chords and I built my beat. I put these chords over the drums, and then I go and I start layering. And after that, it's much easier for me to find samples that match this harmony that I've built, like all these chords that I have now. It's much easier to then find samples to layer over this than the other way around. So I always start here, I always start with progressions. I think most of us do, right? But in this case, it's something that I never shared. And I think especially if you're working with chops, if you're working with layers, trying to layer samples, I think it will be much easier for you to do it this way, right? I feel like it is. So listen to this beat that I'm making. It's exactly the same way. And you'll see this on most of my beats, the way it starts. Look at the type of samples that I'm picking to start the beat. It's a chord with a bass in there. This is just a lick. It's a sort of chord as well. And if you're interested, this came in one of my packs on Patreon. I got a lot of this stuff in there. Again, it's a cut that has a lot of different tones in there. This is the sort of stuff that I like to start working with. Right. So from here on, it's easier for me to go and find samples like this that I can layer over. So let me see what I can find here. Let me go. Let me get here maybe to some of these. So this is the sort of chord that I would look for to start a beat. There you go, you got those chords right there. This is what I'm looking for. And this might be a good example. I have a chop here with chords, but there's also like this high tone, this sound in the higher register, in the higher frequencies that I can use. I can try to use that just by filtering the other stuff out. So let me just put it on the pad. So that's the other sound that I want, right? So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put the kill EQ. Kill EQ. So stuff like that. See, I grabbed that sample, I deleted that last part here. And maybe I could have done it in a different way here because the chord is on the right channel. So I could just use the left channel. So there are other ways to approach this, but what I did here is just filter out that bass, keep that, and then just loop that and you'll hear it. Right? And then use that as my sample because I don't want the chord. I want now these little notes to, you know, layer over. Pitched it by one semitone and then. And I was just finding a good place to put it. Stuff like that. It doesn't need to be too loud up in your face. I rather have stuff that kind of blends in with the rest of the mix than to have something to kind of just grab your attention. Sometimes it's good, especially if it's like a hook, a melody that is really powerful, then you push it up in volume. But typically I like my chops to kind of blend in with the rest of the mix, not to pop out and just be in your face. That was it, man. I hope you guys enjoyed the beat. I'm going to finish this beat. I got to now put a bass line on this and some extra samples on top. I would love to get some voices for this. Maybe some extra percussion in here as well. And that's where I'm going to go. But typically, these are the samples that I love to start and then, get all the rest on top of this. Peace. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching the channel. I do appreciate all your support as always, man. Thank you. I feel blessed for being here. And have a great day, great weekend. Bye.